Alright, guys, it is Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022 at 3:07 p.m. Alright, guys, let's take a look at Daily Verses .net verse of the day. It has, "So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." Galatians 5:16. Alright, guys, let's start off by taking a look at what's happening in the Atlantic. Here we have Hurricane Lisa hitting the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize in South America. Category 1 hurricane making landfall. Alright, let's take a look at the next hurricane. Let's take a look at the Atlantic first. We have Lisa making landfall, maximum sustained winds at 70 knots or 80 miles an hour. Minimal central pressure of 987 millibars. Located at 17.3 north or 87.7 west. Movement west at 12 knots or 14 miles an hour. There's Lisa making landfall right there in South America, Yucatan Peninsula area. Then there's Martin, Hurricane Martin. Maximum sustained winds of 65 knots or 75 miles an hour. Minimal central pressure 983 millibars. Located at 35.5 north, 50.0 west. Movement east northeast at 23 knots at 26 miles an hour. This one's heading out to sea over here. And then we have a disturbance 1 with 20% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days. A complex of non-tropical area of low pressure is expected to develop this weekend over the northeastern Caribbean Sea or the southwestern Atlantic. Some slow subtropical or tropical development of this system is possible. Afterward, while it moves generally northward to northwestward, through early next week. Formation chance in 48 hours near 0%, and formation chance through 5 days low at 20%. So this is what's happening here: Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and next to the Bahamas, the east of the Bahamas. There's the disturbance 1. Then there's Hurricane Lisa and Hurricane Martin. Alright, let's take a look at Hurricane Martin. This is Hurricane Martin out in the Atlantic, heading to the east, northeast. So it's heading out to sea. It should not really interfere with a lot of land. Alright, guys, let's take a look again at Hurricane Lisa. This is the one affecting the South American region, so you get a better look at it, spend more time on it on video, see it almost making landfall there. Alright, guys, and here is what Lisa is bringing to the Gulf of Mexico. As you see, the Yucatan Peninsula pretty much covered by the storms. Some of the clouds almost reaching Florida Keys, you see here, getting towards that region, so it is affecting that area as well as Cuba, you see here. Alright, this storm, Lisa, is going to be making it into possibly the Gulf after it hits the Yucatan Peninsula. So heads up for the Gulf of Mexico and parts of the Gulf region. Don't know how far it'll make it inland, but it is quite interesting where it could head. Alright, let's go to the next stories. We have North Korea launches 23 missiles, triggering a air raid alarm 5 hours ago. So North Korea launched 23 missiles, triggering an air raid alarm in the south. People on an island took cover as one of the missiles landed close to them. So pretty much South Korea fighter jets launched 3 air-surface missiles Wednesday after North Korea fired at least 23 missiles in its biggest daily barrage under Kim Jong-un. So that is a heads up for you guys. Things are escalating between North Korea and South Korea, so keep an eye on that. Alright, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at my Space River News community tab, as you see here. Under my community tab, I share a lot of news. I share more news than I do covering videos. That's why I like coming on video and looking at my community tab so you guys can see some of the things that I have shared. So if I don't make a video about it, it usually should be here under my community tab. Alright, so we have the serious crisis happening in the Korea Peninsula. Also, the US power grid could possibly plunge in the next couple of years in crisis mode because they are plugging in more electric vehicle batteries charging stations. So that could weaken the power grid. I left there a link for Dabu's video. He covers the information on that. He's a great channel. So check out Dabu777. He's got great videos that he makes. Alright, next we have here Lisa, Category 1 hurricane. You see here is forecasted to go into the Gulf of Mexico as a depression by Sunday 1 a.m. and Saturday 1 a.m. So, and also Monday 1 a.m. So pretty much depression as it heads into the Gulf. It will cross the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico and go into the Gulf region, and we don't know what it could become once it reaches the Gulf, so we gotta keep an eye on that. Alright, then we have Lisa and Martin and the depression, and then we have for Texas, this is a GFS model run. Don't know how accurate this is, but there could possibly be snow in Texas November 17th, as you see here in the image. Northern Texas with snow and sleet and rain for the south part of Texas, but possible snow November 17th, so heads up you guys. Alright, also the coast of California is experiencing some smaller earthquakes, but off the coast of California there was a 6.0 earthquake in the North Pacific Ocean. Let's take a look quickly here and see if any other aftershocks have happened since that 6.0 earthquake 13 hours ago. Let's take a look and see what the USGS for earthquakes has brought for the coast of California. Alright, let's see what we have here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Alright, there have not been any other aftershocks after the 6.0 happened 13 hours ago, but there is some earthquakes, a 2.9 in Hawaii and a 2.6 in Hawaii, and then there's still some smaller earthquakes, a 2.6 in Pinos, California, and a 2.8 in Seven Trees, California, as well as a 2.9 in Pistol River, Oregon. So the West Coast just having this 6.0 off into the ocean was a godsend because it did not affect the mainland. So please pray for the people of California and the people of Hawaii as well, because this is in between Hawaii and California. Quite spooky to have such a large earthquake happening there, but thank goodness people are safe and that it happened off land, off the shore basically. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, the U.S. military inspectors in Ukraine to keep further track of weapons and equipment. So, U.S. troops in Ukraine are not mostly there for basically what most military troops do, which is be, soldiers. These are the ones that are in Ukraine are actually inspectors to keep further track of weapons and equipment. This is what is being reported. I don't know if it's under guise something else, but this is being reported. So that's happening as well. Alright, let's take a look at Zero Hedge. Supreme Court asked to restore felon voting rights in Mississippi. The state constitution bars those convicted of murder, rape, bribery, theft, arson, obtaining money or goods under false pretenses, perjury, forgery, embezzlement, or bigamy from voting. And apparently the Supreme Court is trying to restore those rights for those felons. Alright. North Korea launches a number of missiles, prompting response from the South. I just talked about that a little bit ago, but let's take a look to see if this article says anything else. It says North Korea has just fired off the highest number of missiles ever recorded in a day, as far as its recent history of threatening test launches. South Korea's defense ministry recorded as many as 23 short-range missiles fired off the east and west of the peninsula on Wednesday, including one that landed close to the South Territorial waters, said to the first going back to the 1945. Of the missiles that landed close, JCS said the missile landed in international waters 167 kilometers or 104 miles northwest of South Korea's Yungling Island, about 26 miles south of the northern line. The de facto inter-Korean maritime border that North Korea does not recognize, cited CNN. So please pray for the people in Japan and the people in South Korea having to deal with North Korea shooting missiles. Please pray for the whole situation. Pray that Jesus watches over them and keeps them safe, because this is intense, guys. Nobody wants to be living in that kind of situation. Alright. Next, we have Ukraine grain shipments resume as Russia rejoins deal. Wheat futures tumble. Wheat futures tumble on Wednesday morning. Statements from Russia saying it had agreed to return to the Turkey and UN brokered grain deal to allow for the continued export of Ukrainian grain through a Black Sea safety corridor. Moscow said it has returned to the deal after receiving assurances that Ukraine will not use the marine safety corridor for military purposes. Russia's defense ministry confirmed it has received sufficient guarantees from the Ukrainian government that it will dematerialize the humanitarian corridor. Following last week, Russia said its ships had come under drone attack. Russia considers that the received guarantees are at the moment sufficient and is resuming the implementation of the agreement, the ministry said. The vital deal is set to renew in mid-November amid nearly 10 million tons of grains and other foodstuffs have been sent through it since it was implemented in the summer. Russia announced it had pulled out on Saturday, resulting in a diplomatic scramble to find a way forward. So thank goodness that Ukraine grain shipments resume, because there's so many people in Africa and the European countries that rely on these grain shipments for food. So please pray for the people who rely on them. Hopefully they get the food they need. Please pray for them. Alright, guys. Next. UK orders all poultry and captive birds indoors amid largest ever bird flu outbreak. So authorities in the UK have ordered all captive birds and poultry to be kept indoors due to concern over avian influenza. The stepped-up measures from the UK's chief veterinary officer made the housing measures a legal requirement and are accompanied by stringent biosecurity measures to protect flocks from disease. So that's big yikes for all those farmers to have to keep all of their birds now inside. Alright. Alright, so apparently the Fed got hiked 6 times in 2022. That is going to really be bad for interest rates, but just sharing the information that I heard today, the Fed got hiked its rates for its 6th time in 2022. Alright, and again, the earthquake. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today, and my dog just sneezed. Alright guys, so that's it for the video. Hit like and subscribe for more news, and God bless you guys. See you guys next time. God bless.